North Korean hackers shift tactics, targeting wealthy crypto holders. LinkedIn sues a Singapore firm for creating 1 million fake accounts to scrape user data. The Clop ransomware gang demands up to $50 million per victim in a coordinated Oracle breach. And new research says AI tools have become the #1 channel for corporate data leaks. This is Cybersecurity Today, and I'm your host, Jim Love. North Korean hackers have found a new way to fund their regime by going after wealthy individual investors. Blockchain analysis firm Elliptic reports that hackers tied to Pyongyang have stolen more than $2 billion so far this year. That's roughly 13% of the country's GDP. Western security agencies say much of that money helps pay for North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. Groups such as Lazarus Group are now focusing on crypto-rich individuals who lack the layered defenses of the big exchanges. They use spear phishing, fake investment apps, and malware-infected trading platforms to drain personal wallets, attacks that are hard to trace and rarely disclosed. At the same time, investigators say North Korean operatives are still posing as remote software developers to infiltrate legitimate tech firms and move stolen crypto through corporate channels, a scheme that's helped them evade sanctions for years. Elliptic's chief scientist Tom Robinson warns that many of these thefts are underreported, so the real totals could be even higher. The message is clear. If you hold digital wealth, you're now part of the threat landscape. Protect it with hardware wallets, cold storage, and multi-factor authentication. And if you're a company, continue to exercise vigilance in the use of any remote workers. LinkedIn is taking a new approach in its fight against data scraping. This time, it's targeting fake accounts. The company has filed a lawsuit in California against a Singapore-based firm called ProAPI, accusing it of creating more than 1 million fake profiles to collect personal and professional data from real users. But ProAPI isn't acting alone. LinkedIn is also naming a Pakistan-based technical enabler called NetSwift as co-defendants, alleging they helped build and operate the scraping network. The suit claims the group used automation and fake identities to mimic human behavior, bypassing LinkedIn's security systems to harvest massive amounts of user data. The move marks a shift for LinkedIn. After losing an earlier court battle with HiQ Labs over scraping public data, it's now focusing on the use of fraudulent accounts, an area where it feels the courts might be more sympathetic. LinkedIn says that the operation undermines trust and opened users to scams, spam, and possible identity theft. But despite the lawsuit, ProAPI's website still advertises its data access services as live and available. It's a reminder that the scraping industry isn't slowing down, and the legal system may not be catching up. A coordinated ransomware campaign targeting Oracle's e-business suite is hitting some of the world's biggest companies, and the ransom demands are staggering. The attackers linked to the Clop ransomware gang have reportedly infiltrated multiple organizations running the on-premise version of Oracle's enterprise software. Executives began receiving ransom demands on September 29th. With some reaching as high as $50 million US. That's per victim, according to cybersecurity firm Halcyon, which is helping to investigate. Investigators believe the hackers abused compromised corporate email accounts and exploited the password reset process to gain valid credentials for Oracle's e-business suite portals. That simple but effective tactic may explain how so many installations were compromised so quickly. But it also raises some questions about whether a shared vulnerability exists that connects these cases. Oracle says its cloud infrastructure wasn't affected since the e-business suite runs on customer-managed services. Still, The scope and size of these ransom demands make this one of the most significant extortion campaigns of the year. CISA has urged organizations to step up basic security hygiene, take inventory of all assets and data, distinguish between authorized and unauthorized traffic, monitor network ports, install software updates promptly, and grant system administrator privileges only when absolutely necessary. Because as this campaign shows, when credentials fail, the fallout can reach the tens of millions. Finally, new research says that the biggest leak in most companies isn't email or file sharing anymore. It's AI tools. A study by Layer X, reported by the Hacker News, finds that generative AI apps have become the #1 channel for corporate data exfiltration. And it isn't sophisticated malware doing the damage. It's ordinary use. 45% of employees are using Gen AI, mostly ChatGPT, and 2/3 of that activity happens on unmanaged personal accounts where security teams have zero visibility. The leak paths include both files and text. 77% of employees paste information into AI prompts directly, often copying from documents or emails. Text-based entries, uploads, and even paraphrased content expose regulated data. In fact, the report found that about 40% of those uploads contain personally identifiable information, or PII, or payment card information, PCI, data that's legally protected in most jurisdictions. And there's another blind spot: authentication. The vast majority of AI users are using logins that aren't federated, meaning employees are using personal credentials that corporate IT can't monitor. If those AI and business accounts were federated, tied to the company's identity system, security teams could at least see what's being accessed and flag risky behavior before data left the organization. And that's why experts warn against becoming Dr. No when it comes to AI. If employees don't get safe, approved ways to use these tools, they'll just find their own. And that's often the greater risk. Because the reality is, the data isn't leaving through attachments or malware. It's being walked out through the keyboard. And that's our show for today. You can reach me with tips, comments, or even constructive criticism if you like. You can reach me at technewsday.com or .ca. Use the Contact Us form. If you're watching this on YouTube, just drop me a note under the video. I read them all. I'm your host, Jim Love. Thanks for listening.